Hello, and welcome to this review of the Chance Sisters historical romance book series by Anne Gracie. I'm Olivia, your new favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. So, first up, we have The Autumn Bride, which is book one. Our oldest sister, Abigail, is working as a governess and sending money to her sister. One day, she is beckoned by a stranger in the street to come quickly and save her sister from a brothel. And in doing so, two other girls get rescued as well. So the four decide to stick together, even though they're not actually related to each other. And then they figure, well, we can survive better as a team rather than separately. Well, times are tough, and Abigail has long since been let go from her previous job. So they decide to break into the abandoned house next door to try to steal anything that can be useful. What Abigail finds instead is a neglected old lady that needs help and care. So the old lady, Beatrice, is frail and sickly and decides, hey, I'm going to let these girls come live with me. They're just going to be my new nieces. And so begins the setup for the rest of the series. Eventually, Lady Beatrice's actual nephew comes back from many years overseas, and he thinks that these four strangers are trying to swindle his aunt, which they aren't, of course. But he butts heads with Abigail quite a bit until he realizes she's a good person and not taking advantage, etc. And of course, then they fall in love. This whole series definitely has a very strong found family here, and it is definitely worth reading these books in order because you'll see how the family kind of gets closer and closer as the years or months go on. So our second book is The Winter Bride, and so the couple from book one is off on a honeymoon. So Max, our guy, has asked his friend Freddie to watch over his aunt and all of the new sisters. He starts befriending Damaris and walking her to and from work. She's just trying to avoid the old lady's meddlesome insistence that she participate in the upcoming London season. She's got something that happened in her past. She thinks she's not a suitable bride candidate whatsoever. At some point, Freddie is being called to his parents' house for a house party that he knows is just going to be some sort of matchmaking attempt. So he convinces Damaris to be his fake fiance so that this house party will get canceled. And he brings her home with him to meet his parents. There is a lot of bad history there with Freddie and his parents, and we get to see Damaris like slowly uncover the hidden depths of her fake fiance. This one is definitely a good one. The Spring Bride is book three, and so in this one, our gal Jane has seen her parents' own love match doom them to poverty. So she's not having it, she's not interested whatsoever. She is going forward with the London Marriage Mart, and she is aiming for someone steady and reliable so that she'll never have to be cold or hungry ever again. And while she's doing that, one day in the street, she is rescuing a mangy dog from some street ruffians, and she meets a gruff and handsome stranger. He's all wrong for her because he's not steady and reliable and rich at all. Uh, he is, sort of, but she doesn't know that, and he's kind of an accused criminal and needs to work on clearing his name. This one was actually my favorite of the series because Jane ultimately reprioritizes her wishes based on love and does a great job of rescuing herself and ultimately rescuing the guy. And the fourth and last book of the series is The Summer Bride. We have Daisy, who is the last sister with no plans to marry at all. She's aiming to open a dress shop with all of her unique designs. She's the seamstress of the group and sort of the person who comes up with all of these fashionable gowns and undergarments and robes and nightgowns, and that's kind of her specialty. So she wants to open a dress shop, kind of dressing the fancy pants of the ton. A family friend, Flynn, has been quite vocal in his goal of finding a wife and has been very active in the marriage mart. Somehow, these two end up spending more and more time together, and they finally act on their attraction to each other. But Daisy is adamant that this is just a dalliance, this is just an affair, it will not lead to marriage. Meanwhile, Flynn is trying to both honor her wishes and be supportive, but also be like, hey, you know what? I'd be a really good husband, sort of thing. But it's really great to see Daisy become independent and open her shop and get all these clients, etc. So this story was a really great wrap up to the series and seeing how all the new members of this found family get along with each other and grow. And as a bonus, we have a little novella thrown in called The Christmas Bride. This holiday novella seems to take place between the Winter Bride and the Spring Bride because Christmas, right? But it doesn't really give away too many spoilers. It kind of takes place on its own with separate characters. It's a quick little read with a little highway robbery, a sick bed, and a forced marriage after being compromised. I enjoyed reading this little extra glimpse of our favorite characters. We see them again at Christmas time, but you could read it as a standalone. It's fine. It's just a quick little country road sickbed trope. But overall, I really like the series. I enjoyed all of Anne Gracie's books. They don't really fit the traditional romance tropes, and they're really entertaining. Thank you so much for watching this video. Links to all the books I talked about are in the description box. Like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.